What's up, Atlanta United fans? I'm Corey Knapp. Welcome back to another episode of 90 on Peachtree. We are back after a couple weeks off, and this week we are talking about Julian Gressel and the trade that is still haunting Atlanta United right now. A distinct missing piece in the last couple seasons, and probably the most glaring issue with Atlanta United, even beyond the coaching changes, a lot of the personnel turnover, is the absence of Julian Gressel and his quality crosses, his services, his deliveries, first-time passes, his overall demeanor, his overall fire within him, and his relationship with Josef Martínez. That's been a huge missing piece for Atlanta United the last two seasons since they traded Gressel. And yes, Miguel Almiron was the best player on the 2018 MLS Cup winning side, and he was always going to be transferred to Europe. He was always going to take that next big step forward. But once Josef committed to the team, Atlanta United's next priority needed to be re-signing Julian Gressel. And did he have some contract demands that were pretty high? Yes. But his numbers back them up. He had 32 assists in 3 seasons. He scored 15 goals. He was one of the best passers in the MLS and consistently provided great services to Josef and great movement and a great option on the right wing and a great work rate. He played in a ton of matches for Atlanta United year in and year out. Rarely was not starting, rarely did not feature, and he was just an invaluable part of the team. And Atlanta United really let him walk for not that much. I mean, $1 million in allocation money is not that much, and they really have not used it well, and the value of that allocation money is not anywhere near the value that Gressel brought to the team and would have continued to bring to the team these last couple seasons. And the guys who have been over in his position in the last couple years on the right wing and the right midfield, Lennon, Dom, Gallagher, these dudes are just not at the level that Gressel reached, and really any attempt by Darren Eales or Carlos Bocanegra or any MLS reporters or pundits really to tell us otherwise is just a lie. No one on that side of the pitch really has come anywhere near his level, and with so much turnover in the middle of the field, oftentimes the attack generates most effectively over there, but then it fans out because the crosses are bad, or they aren't played the first time, and then the defense has plenty of time to figure out where Josef is, or Josef's the only player in the box, so every cross has to be pinpoint perfection instead of only needing to be just a good solid service with a good group of receivers on the other end. How many times have we seen the counterattack develop and the ball find its way over to the right side only to fizzle out into a dribbling display, a delayed cross, or a bad cross, or a giveaway? Where there was once a surefire threat of a goal and or assist or a very, very good chance creation is now just kind of the Bermuda Triangle in Atlanta's offense. And man, he and Josef were tight, and they both play with that fire, that demeanor in them, that kind of right on the edge of that anger and that passion, and that's been something that's missing too the last couple of years. With Gressel gone, with Josef out, someone who can really fire up the team, fire up themselves, get into it with their own teammates if they're not liking what they're seeing on the field, get into it with opponents, with referees. And that's been kind of something that the fire with Atlanta United just hasn't been there. Someone to light the spark internally during matches, to kind of lift the team up, to kind of get the motor running and get the momentum going. And Gressel really did that very well and was always there, and he backed it up with a high motor on the pitch, running up and down the right side of the field, always gave it 100% on offense and defense, and like we said, played in a ton of matches, rarely was not finishing matches, and you knew if he had to come out of a game either because he was tired or because of an injury, he really was hurt or he really needed that rest. And that's just something that is invaluable to go along with the incredible production that he gave. You just know in the last couple seasons, some of the performances Atlanta United has given. Josef wouldn't have let that slide. Julian wouldn't have let that slide. Publicly or privately, there would have been conversations with teammates like, hey, this is not how we're going to play. This is not the product we're going to put on the field. And really, yes, Brad probably can do that a little bit, but he's so far back in goal, and it's just so tough to kind of connect with your players during the game, whereas Julian and Josef are right up in there and can connect and say, hey, y'all, we're not going out like this, or this is not how we're going to play for these 90 minutes. Let's pick it up and get it together. And an easy rebuttal to this video may be that, hey, Julian hasn't been very good with DC since he got traded there. And while, yes, that's true on the surface, he's had 2 coaches in 2 years, he's had injuries. Last year was pretty much a wash with the pandemic, and changing systems, changing cities in a league like MLS is tough, and he was in a great system and was the focal point of the system with him and Josef and Almiron in Atlanta, and was one of the leaders of the team, and to have to go and switch all of that takes time and an adjustment period, especially with the pandemic season of last year. And so, yes, he hasn't been up to his Atlanta United level, but, I mean, the Atlanta United players who have come in for him have not been either. And until Atlanta United finds a guy on the right or left side who can really be that consistent, steady presence, providing great opportunities for Josef in the middle and just being a steadying, leading presence on the field for 90 minutes, night in and night out, and produce goals, assists, then the Julian Gressel trade is an L. We talk about so much with like the Hawks, for example, the Trey and Luka trade. Who won the trade? I mean, I don't really think anyone has won this trade. Atlanta United has not been good without Gressel. DC is still having him get his legs under him, and so it's really been a wash, but Atlanta United has completely lost the trade because they've gotten zero production from whatever they've brought in for Gressel, and they lost a guy who was one of the pillars of a championship team. And so you can have all the flash in the midfield, all the flash from different South American talents coming in who are very exciting, very fun, but if every new signing is a midfielder or a forward or something that just goes right up that middle, but you still are running an offense that generates so much on the wings, then you need a guy like Gressel out there who can provide those passes and those crosses into Josef, into your star players, your good young players who you're bringing in, and be that threat on the outside. And so I think that's a focus Atlanta United will have to have this offseason in order to be better. So that's that on my Julian Gressel rant. Friend of the show, by the way. Met Julian Gressel at a Chick-fil-A a couple seasons ago. He signed my scarf that you see back here. Great guy. And next up for Atlanta United is at Nashville tonight at 8:30. The Five Stripes haven't won a match in almost 2 months, and these teams lead the league in draws with 6 each. So you may be able to save yourself a couple hours, chalk this one up to a 1-1 tie, and catch up on the new season of Dave on FXX. I highly recommend it. It won't let you down, whereas Atlanta United this season has let us down a couple of times. There will be no late blown leads on that show, I can promise you. Alrighty, so that's it for this episode of 90 on Peachtree. We will be back next week here on the Atlanta Sports Unlimited YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe, follow us on Twitter, and we will see you guys next week. I am Corey Knapp. This has been 90 on Peachtree. Take it easy.